I wanted to make a quick video to talk about the Font Awesome font, which is one of my favorite TechCom software resources. It's what I use to create little kind of auto numbering things for my documentation, both in my FrameMaker Working with Content book, hopefully soon to be released for version 18, and for my structured workbooks. This is just a quick overview of the information that I've got in my courses, courses.techcomtools.com. And you'll find it in both the authoring unstructured content, because this is more of a unstructured technique that I'm going to show you, as well as the formatting unstructured or the templates course that I've got right here. If you don't have access to the full course, you can find kind of an overview here at techcomtools.com/font-awesome-bullets. And that'll give you kind of the overview right there. This was done in 2019, so there's things like the video from Vimeo that I don't subscribe to anymore that I need to pull out. So this will give you an outline of what's going on here. The bottom line is we really only have to do two things here. Is basically right here in FrameMaker. When you open up a file, sometimes you'll have a missing font. And in this case, the Font Awesome font. This is like the original Font Awesome font that's buried somewhere and no longer used. But it's called for probably in one of my catalog entries, which makes it difficult to find. So the Font Awesome font family is not available. I need to fix that. Now, I can either wash out this resource across all of my files, but if that's not practical, and sometimes it's not, the easier thing is to simply make this font available on my machine right now. So my files open up without this error, and supply this font to somebody else that needs to use my material. And that could be my end client as a deliverable. It could also be very likely a localization company that needs this resource, just like images, in order to work with my files. So it's easy enough to find when you have, especially a free resource from a trusted source. I'll switch over to the place where I need to be, fontawesome.com. That's where I get my free versions and paid versions of Font Awesome. I only use the free version. It's enough for me. And on this page, if you go all the way down to the bottom, go down into the footer, and you'll find that there is a Font Awesome list where you can download the current version, or you can download all or any version. So if you do that and then come over here to Font Awesome 5, if Font Awesome 5 is what you need, click on download. Choose the appropriate version, which would be for the desktop. I want free for the desktop. And I can go ahead and put in my email address and then just go ahead and download that. In fact, there's even a link to continue with downloading it without even signing up. So let's assume that you've done that. You've got the font downloaded and decompressed onto your desktop. Switching back over to Windows, come down into your control area and just type in font. Look for font settings, and then take your window with the fonts that you need to drop or the fonts that you need to load onto your system and just drop them into this box right here. Assuming the font that you downloaded is an exact match to the font that's being asked for, you can then clear out your console, open up your files, and that message should not be appearing. If it does appear, you didn't get the exact resource it was looking for. There are some fonts that are created by multiple font foundries. So Font Awesome is a very specific example, and I don't know of any competitors that have something called Font Awesome, so it's pretty easy to track down the exact font that you need to install. Once you do that, then you can supply that to, like I said, whether it is your commercial printer or your end user or who's paying you to create this content, or a localization company that needs these fonts in order to process your file and give you localized versions of your content. Like I said, there's more information on this in the courses that I've got for unstructured authoring and unstructured template development. And you can always reach out to me on the forums, or you can reach out to me personally. I'll finish up with one quick demo of why these are so cool. And if I come here to something that is automatically putting this icon here for exercise 1, what you'll see here is that exercise 1 is its own paragraph with its own auto number. I also use another paragraph to put just this icon in here. And that is a paragraph tag called xproj, or exercise project. For these other ones, it's even slicker. If I want to take this for instructions on downloading class files, blah, blah, blah. If I want to change the formatting on that, if I go to, I'm going to go to Control 9 just to bring up my smart insert here. I'm going to type in B1 for B1 body 1. That's my paragraph tag convention. When I change the format, I remove the frame above, the frame below. I change the font to something that's going to match all the rest of my stuff. And I eliminate that auto number that was sitting over in here. To get that download back, Control 9, D dash, gives me D dash download in the list. I apply that format and it reformats itself. You can see on this page alone, I've got an exercise, a download, and a tip. I've got warnings. I've got other things in there to give different icons, little lesson tips. I've got about 10 or 12 of them that I use on a regular basis. I wouldn't trade them for anything. So if you've got a problem like this, go get the font awesome font. That is being requested. Install it on your system, and you should be ready to go.